Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's sports podcast. It's Friday tea time, and it's the 7th of May 2021. Um, if you hear any snivels or coughing during this video, I apologise. I've been suffering a little bit the last couple of days. I think it might be the after effects of my second COVID jab last Friday, so hopefully it's nothing too serious. I feel alright now-ish. So, anyway, we've got plenty to get through, so let's get on with it, shall we? Let's the waffle. We'll start by looking at this week's European football. And obviously we've got some really good results for the English teams in Europe this week, apart from poor old Arsenal. Starting with the Champions League and Manchester City putting a brilliant performance against PSG to get themselves through to the Champions League final first of all on Tuesday evening. And they were swiftly followed on Wednesday evening by Chelsea, who comfortably in the end dispatched Real Madrid. At one point when Chelsea were 1-0 up, I thought, oh, they're going to pay for these costly misses, but thankfully they put a second one away towards the end of the match. So in the end, it looked pretty convincing. And to be fair, Real Madrid were a shadow of a team you'd normally expect to see from, such as Real Madrid. You expect such high quality stuff from Real Madrid, but the quality of the football and the general appetite for the game didn't seem to be there. I know they've got a lot of injuries, but it just wasn't Real Madrid. So we've got an all-English final between Manchester City and Chelsea, which is due to take place in Istanbul, I believe. I think it's the 29th of May. There's been talk that it may be shifted to England because it's two English teams, and obviously because of the COVID restrictions and travel. But keep your eyes on that one because it may change. I know Aston Villa have put forward the name of Villa Park to hold the final, but they need to do a lot of work and there'll be lots of changes required to make sure they can have it there. So I'm not sure how realistic that is, but it's good that they've offered. It's probably the only way Villa are going to get any kind of championship final of that standing in the near future. So, yeah, just keep an eye on that one. Moving on to the Europa League, Manchester United, although beaten on the night last night by Roma 3-2, they went through comfortably. And they will face Villarreal, the Yellow Submarine from Spain in the final, who managed to hold Arsenal to a 0-0 draw at the Emirates last night. I think most people expected Arsenal to win. I know I expected Arsenal to get through, but again, it looked a little bit lacklustre. And some of the players just didn't seem to be up for it on the big occasion. And I think there's going to be a few question marks about maybe Arteta now, although personally I don't really blame him for the outcome. I think the players have got to take a lot of the responsibility. I mean, they've got a lot of young lads, people like Saka and Smith Rowe are coming through nicely, but I think you've got to look at players like Partey and Nicola Pepe and people like that who have paid lots of money for, who haven't really performed. And everyone, Willian, who came to, I think it might have been a free transfer actually, he just hasn't performed. He's been a bad signing for Arsenal. I loved him when he was at Chelsea, but he's just not performed for Arsenal. So sadly they're out. So Manchester United will be playing Villarreal in the final, and I believe that's in Gdansk on the 26th of May. And the likelihood of that going ahead in Gdansk is probably more likely than the Champions League one going ahead in Turkey. So that's this week's European football out of the way. Switching tack now to the Premier League, and that's underway again this weekend. Tonight's game is Leicester against Newcastle. Newcastle still probably need a couple of points to guarantee the safety, although they're pretty much there. It's at Leicester. You'd probably expect Leicester to win. They still need to cement their place in the top four and guarantee their place in the Champions League for next season, so they'll be looking to win that match. So that should be a decent game to watch, I think, because they've both got something to play for. Over the weekend, Saturday tea time, I believe it is actually. Manchester City can wrap up the title if they can beat Chelsea, which will be a dress rehearsal for the Champions League final we've already mentioned. I'm not sure which way this game's going to go. City are going to they'll be on a high, but so will Chelsea. Chelsea's form's been really good recently. City's form's been really good as well. Depends what kind of team they put out, I guess, because they know they're going to win it eventually. It's a case of how quickly and how much they want to rest some of the players. So we'll see what lineups are there. Leeds play Tottenham in a lunchtime kick-off, 12:30. That's on BT Sport. And then on Sunday we've got Aston Villa playing Manchester United at 2:05, I think it is, or 2 or 2:05 anyway. And then the tea time game on Sky is West Ham against Everton, two teams that are still trying to get into Europe. West Ham still have hopes of getting into the Champions League, and Everton still have hopes of getting into some kind of European position, although the form's dipped off recently, and it won't be easy from away to West Ham, especially having so much to play for. So they're the highlights coming forward from this weekend in the Premier League. Also this weekend, we're looking at National League now, and FC Halifax Town have got an important home game against Boreham Wood, 3 o'clock Saturday at the Shea. They had a good result on Bank Holiday Monday at Yeovil, winning 3-0 after the setback of losing to Stockport on the Saturday before that, on Saturday 1st. which were a tough game. Stockport are a good team, and I think the championship title race is between the top 4 teams now. Halifax are currently in 5th, so they'll be looking to consolidate that place in the playoffs tomorrow with another win. They have 4 games left, including tomorrow. They've got 2 away games after this, which aren't going to be easy. Dagenham, who you'd like to think on paper we should beat, but we haven't always had the best of performance at Dagenham. We haven't had the best of results historically there. Then the week after we've got Maidenhead away. Again, the team will still be in the shout for playoffs at that point, depending on how the results go in the next couple of weeks. And the final home game could be a massive game when the fans are hopefully going to be allowed back in to play. We're playing Chesterfield at the Shea, and the club have made details available what the priority will be for tickets for the last game, provided that the government's roadmap does go ahead as laid out for the 17th of March. So looking forward to going to that game. Fingers crossed it can happen, and fingers crossed that Town can make the playoffs. Whether it be 5th, 6th or 7th, we'll be happy, I think, but we'll be in the playoffs. Some of our fans actually would prefer us to finish 6th or 7th, I think, simply because of the fact that the playoff game are over the first round at least. I think all of them might be over one leg. And our away form, it seems to be better than our home form because of the way the team's set up. We seem to be better on the counter, perhaps. So, but yeah, I'd like to think we'll make it to the playoffs. So moving on from football now, we're going to talk about cricket, and we'll start with the local league stuff this week and the Halifax Cricket League. And looking back at last Saturday, we'll look at the Premier League results, and there were 3 draws this last weekend. We had the draw between Booth and Sowerbridge Church Institute, SBCCI, and we had a draw between Thornton and Illingworth St Mary's, and we also had a draw between Triangle and Bradshaw. Triangle managed to score 289 for 9, and that featured a great innings for them by Carl Fletcher, and he scored 68. He was the main man for them. And for Bradshaw, good performances with the ball from Aaron Buckley, took 3 wickets, and Piers Fisher took 3 wickets, and Simon Collins took 2 as well. Fletcher was actually dismissed by a run out from Adam Spendelow, so that ended innings a timely time, would say. Bradshaw managed to muster 216 for 9 in reply, so it was a losing draw as such. Triangle took 11 points and Bradshaw scored 5. And for Bradshaw, there was a good performance there by Johnny Lister. He got 90, and Piers Fisher chipped in with a nice 42 as well. So not all was lost for Bradshaw there. That's reasonable result there. In the other 3 games, Blackley beat Copley by 2 wickets. Myvenroyd beat Shelf and North Arm Hedgetop by 2 wickets, and Worley beat Sawby Bridge comfortably by 8 wickets. On a separate note with regards to Thornton, unfortunately for Nicky Hutchinson, he couldn't make it a hat-trick of centuries. He was out for 1, caught by Ben Robertshaw, bowled by Luke Brooksby, but no doubt he'll be very pleased with his start to the season anyway. And I've quick look at the averages, telling me Josh Hutchinson is actually top of the averages so far in the batting, so they're both having a good season so far. Moving on to this weekend's matches, and this week's fixtures, we've got Bradshaw are playing Worley at home, Copley are at home to Thornton, Illingworth St Mary's at home to Triangle, Myvenroyd are at home to Blackley, Sawby Bridge are at home to Booth, and SBCI even, can I ever get this right, are at home to Shelf North Arm Hedgetop. So they're your games for tomorrow. Hopefully the weather plays nicely, because the forecast isn't particularly good for tomorrow, so let's hope we don't all get washed out. So that's what's been going on in the Halifax Premier League, and obviously keep you updated with everything that happens this weekend, like I say, weather permitting. Moving on to Yorkshire now, and Yorkshire are currently in county championship action against Kent at Headingley. Kent made 305 in the first innings, 90 from Zach Crawley in the first innings for their guy. I think Ben Code took 3 wickets for Yorkshire, which wasn't a bad performance. And Yorkshire are batting in response to the 305. When I last looked,
available on Prolific.
they were 152 for 3, and balance was 55 not out. Joe Root was out, he made 41, so it's not a bad response. They're in a reasonable position on coming towards the end of day 2 now, but like I say, weather will, like with it being at Headingley, there's got to be a good chance that the weather will intervene again tomorrow there, although it looks like it's going to be pretty bad across most of the country, so it may well be that most games are affected by the weather tomorrow. So just keep your eyes open for the, what actually happens tomorrow, if anything happens tomorrow in the cricket world in local terms, the local circles, should I say. So moving on now from just before, actually, one thing I do want to go back to is on the local league stuff, on the Halifax League stuff. We've a situation now. We've all played 3 games as such, apart from Sorby Bridge and Triangle, who had to, obviously the game was called off because of COVID, so they get their average points at the end of the season. And I want to talk about the league table. So as it stands at the moment, Illingworth St Mary's are top of the table, Triangle are second, and Bradshaw are doing pretty well, the third so far. They'll be happy with that, I would think. But the reason why Triangle are above them, they've scored less points, but because they get the average, it's based on average score as a table. So because Triangle have got a higher average score, they actually sit second in the table. So if there's anyone unsure about that, that is why it looks like that. It might look a bit odd, but that's how it works. Okay, so moving on from cricket now, and we're looking at the darts, and the Premier League darts. It's coming to the boil now. We've got 3 players tied on 15 points at the top of the table so far. We've got Michael van Gerwen, Nathan Aspinall, and Dimitri van den Berg, all on 15 points. Dimitri beat Nathan 8 legs to 6 last night. Michael beat Johnny Clayton. We've got another round of games tonight. None of them play each other. I had a look at the draw for night's fixtures. None of them are playing each other. And after that night there's a break, and I think it goes to the finals nights now, which are all going to be held at, I think at Milton Keynes, or at the MK Arena in Milton Keynes. And fans are going to be allowed in for that one. The tickets have gone on sale a couple of days ago for that. So you'll see fans in attendance there, provided we go ahead with a roadmap. And that's all good news and brings a bit of atmosphere back, because darts without fans really doesn't have any atmosphere, in my opinion. It's all a bit like the snooker, you know, and they were saying what a roar there was at this Crucible, which is what I'm going to come on to next, because Mark Selby won his 4th world title on Monday when he beat Sean Murphy by 18 frames to 15 in front of a capacity crowd. I think it was just short of 1,000. I think it was 980 people, and they were saying what a roar there was when he won at the end. And it's great to see atmosphere back at sporting events again, and hopefully through the summer we're going to see this across all sports. We've got the Euros coming up in June. We've got the FA Cup final in a couple of weeks' time, where some fans will be allowed in there, I believe. And then we've got also the big events in racing. We've got the Derby on the first weekend of June, and we've got Royal Ascot as well in June. So plenty to look forward to this summer. I might have even missed some major events there. I apologise if I have. So try to cover everything that I can. With regards to the speedway season starts a week on Monday, the 17th of May. Details of ticket availability will be online from Tuesday the 11th. I've seen press releases already from Ipswich and from Bellevue. I've shared the Bellevue one on my Facebook with regards to how you can get hold of tickets for those meetings and what the priorities are for which groups, such as season ticket holders and 1928 club members. Ipswich have said their capacity is going to be reduced for the time being until probably the full lockdown's lifted on the 21st of June. Their capacity for the time being is going to be 2,000. Now I can't imagine if that is similar for across all the tracks in the top division in the Premiership. Well, I don't see it being a real problem, because unfortunately, as much as I love Speedway, the crowds just don't go anymore, and I don't think many teams will get more than 2,000 for any league match during the season anyway. So it shouldn't be too much of an issue, shouldn't that? But keep your eyes on for your local club. And Wolverhampton have got to obviously sort out with the ground people as to how much their capacity will be. It'll be different across the whole of the league. So yeah, that's an important point to bring up. Moving on to stock cars, at Oddsall the 31st of May, the meeting tickets have now sold out. Star Tracks have confirmed that, and it will be an exclusively Brisker Formula 1 meeting only, with 75 cars booked into race. A lot of people will be looking forward to that event and hoping to see the favourites there. A few drivers have made an announcement that they will be making a special appearance, so just keep your eye out for which of those drivers you wouldn't normally see racing will be there, including drivers who've, like I say, made a comeback as well. Thinking ones that come to mind are Ed Neachel and Chris Lloyd, who are making a comeback. So I'll be interested to see if they actually are booked in for that meeting, and how they get on. And hopefully, on a personal note, I'm hoping that John Lund will be racing. He's number 53, and by the time that meeting comes around, I will be 53. So that's one thing we'll have in common, probably the only thing. But there you go. It's a legend in stock cars, so hopefully he'll be there all Monday. So I think I've round about just about round everything up for this week. I don't think there's anything else I really want to cover at the moment. One thing I've omitted to mention is this speedway topic, is the sad passing of the former Arena Essex Lakeside and Eastbourne promoter John Cook, who died suddenly this week at the age of 55. And sad news, and we'd all like to pass on our sincere condolences to his friends and family. And he'll be missed. He was regarded as being a very honest and likeable man throughout the speedway circles, and like I say, thinking about all his family. So I'm going to end on that note, a bit of a somber note perhaps, but hopefully there'll be plenty of good sporting action over the weekend to cheer us all up, and I'll be back next week with an update on exactly what's happened. So until then, it's goodbye for now.